رو واسهتون میفرسته. ازش بخواد که
لینک
هم بفرسته. The link was on. I think we're live. Are we? Okay, hello. My name is Nazi Moinian, and I'm an adjunct fellow at the Middle East Institute. Today, I have the pride and pleasure to be in conversation with my very good friend that I'm proud to call a friend, a journalist, author, activist, a woman of many, many skills, Masih Alinejad, who has agreed to this 1-hour conversation with us. This is going to be a very candid talk back and forth between the two of us, followed by Q&A. So we are very happy to have you. And we will start because I know everyone is short with time and it's the middle of the day. So welcome, Masih. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. We know each other for a long time.
We know each other for
we
almost
are in
a
the
decade.
same battle.
Yes, we are in the same battle as are so many of other great women and men of our country. You know, the Chinese have a proverb, may you live in interesting times. It's an interesting time in Iran. If I were to be on the grounds in Iran today, what would I see? Could you take us through it?
First of all, I have to say that my dream is to be in Iran, like today, these days. You know, Nazi, we've been following what's going on in Iran for years and years. I think we both agree that this is the time that we're so proud that women are leading a movement. Women are leading a revolution. But what actually makes me very sad and sometimes even stop me from being happy to see these beautiful and powerful women taking to the streets and challenging the mullahs is the brutality. And it's just, you know, it didn't need to, for a woman like Gina, Mahsa Amini, 20-year-old girl, to be killed to get the attention of the rest of the world, you know. So this is the sad part, that finally the world paying attention to us, but we've been warning them.
Yeah, you've been at it for many
years.
Now, all of a sudden, your words, unfortunately, at the brutal killing of this young woman and many others have come to fruition. We need to pay attention.
Maybe for those who don't know even the story of Gina Mahsa Amini, it would be good if we give them a better picture.
Give us a better picture altogether. If I were standing on a street corner in Tehran or Sanandaj or Qom or Mashhad, tell me, what is it that I'm witnessing?
First of all, I have to say that Mahsa was not part of any protest. Mahsa was an innocent girl, 22 years old. She just left Sagres, her city, to go to Tehran for a vacation.
From Kurdish origin.
Yeah. Gina means life, inspiration for life, her Kurdish name. So actually she got killed by Hijab police. As you know, many people call it morality police. They don't have any moral. Let's just be clear. There are a bunch of police walking around.
Immoral police, actually.
Trying to, exactly, right. Immoral police. Trying to actually to monitor women in the street and telling them that, oh, your hair is not fully covered. Oh, your dress is just in 21st century. Not only it's backward, it is scary that people are touching your body and telling you what to wear, what to do. Oh, you're not fully covered. Inappropriate hijab. So basically, Mahsa got killed for not being unveiled, for just a bit of her hair was visible. And after that, many men, women, mothers, they related to her story.
Right.
They feel that it could have happened to their own daughters. You know, even those who kept silent for years and years,
right.
They were like, wow, that could have happened to my daughter. So that is why it created a huge anger. You know,
you're close to home.
Exactly.
It could have been anyone. And it is anyone.
Anyone. It could have been you. It could have been tourists going to Iran. It could have been, you know, anyone, as you said.
Yeah. So, and these young, beautiful young women and men who are getting randomly killed with bullets to their chest, face, neck. The bullets are shot with the purpose that they will not survive the bullet wounds.
You're right, Nazi. Right. You know what? Because many time that you see the pictures of those who get killed, you see that they're innocent faces are full of blood, that they aiming to kill them.
Right.
Who?
Right. So you don't survive this.
They want to make sure that they're not going to survive. When they arrest Nika Shakarami,
right?
Let me actually tell you
who 17-year-old girl.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
So when they arrest her, they made sure that she got beaten up to death. And at the end, when she got killed, they took her dead body to the top of a building, and they thrown her like on the, I'm speechless. They made sure that people can see this, that she just committed suicide, or So, but this is actually showing you that how the regime is scared of women, teenagers, which I call them TikTok generation, taking to the streets and saying that enough is enough.
Right.
We don't want to live. The main slogan, "Mimiri."
Right.
Zillat nemipazirim.
No, can you translate?
So the women, girls, and students, when they take to the street, they actually saying that we're ready to die, but we don't want to live with humiliation.
We don't want to be humiliated, but we're ready to sacrifice our lives for it.
And when I say humiliation, you understand, as a woman, as a person coming from minority, for the audiences, it would be good to know that we both are coming from different backgrounds,
different religions. That's exactly true. Masih, so many questions, and I know the audience has a lot more questions to ask, but just so that we can get a better picture of what's going on. How is this different than the uprisings in 2009 and 2019?
2009, there was massive protests across Iran, of course, against the regime. But let's be clear. This is the first time that everyone who dared to take to the street, they are there to support women, to support Masih, to actually challenge one of the main pillars of religious dictatorship. This is the first time, Nazi, that we're witnessing that women are burning headscarves. What does it mean? Headscarf is not just like small piece of cloth.
It's a symbol.
It's a symbol, the most visible symbol of oppression.
Right.
From the beginning, I remember when a woman was just like a lonely soldier, practicing her civil disobedience in the streets. It was good, beautiful. But now, this is the first time that you see a large number of women together. We haven't seen this since the revolution. There was a massive protest, but they oppressed that. They suppressed the protest.
You mean the 1979 revolution? Yeah. So you're calling this, that's actually a good segue. You're calling this not anymore. It's not a women protest anymore. You're calling it a revolution. They're calling it a revolution.
Because they know that compulsory hijab is the weakest pillar of the Islamic Republic. Right. Khamenei himself, he knows that. Right. We always say that Islamic Republic has 3 pillars. Right. Death to America, death to Israel, and compulsory hijab.
Right.
The weakest pillar is the hijab. And that's why when I compared compulsory hijab to the Berlin Wall, the Supreme Leader, Ali Khamenei, got really mad.
So tell us about that. I know you were on a very, very popular segment on Bill Maher, which has had so many views, where you did talk about this passionately, and you compared this repressive veil to the divisive Berlin Wall. So can you tell me what you mean by that? And do you see the same conclusion? Do you see the same ending, how the Berlin Wall fell?
Yes, definitely. It's not just me. Millions of women inside Iran, they see compulsory hijab like the Berlin Wall.
Right.
And they actually are risking their lives. They're facing guns and bullets. They're trying to tear this wall down.
Right.
Because they know that this is going to be the beginning of the end.
Right.
And let me tell the audiences something about compulsory hijab. Look, when we talk about compulsory hijab, it means that if you don't cover your hair, both of us, we will get lashes. We will get lashes. We go to jail. Sitting like this, I mean, it's normal for you, no? We take it for granted. But we go to jail. We get lashes. We get killed. Apart from that, from the age of 7, if we experience that. Right. From the age of 7, if we don't cover ourselves, we won't be able to go to school. We won't be able to get an education. We won't be able to get any ID, to live, to exist. Right. So that is why the Islamic Republic, right after the revolution, you remember that, the first thing that they started to control the whole society was us.
Right.
Through us. Every time I say that, I mean, if you take your friends, you look non-Iranian friends to Iran, how would they understand that this is an Islamic country?
Right.
Through us.
By limiting, repressing half of the population.
Because the Islamic Republic writes its ideology on our bodies.
Right.
When tourists go to Iran, they see that, oh, these women are carrying the most visible symbol of a religious state, like Taliban, like Islamic Republic, with their bodies. If through men, you cannot understand this is Islamic country.
No, they wear the same things more or less, but it's the women who are unseen, unheard. They have no voice. They're educated, they have jobs, but
exactly
at the basic interest of being a human or being a humanitarian, they're disregarded.
Exactly, and that's the way they try to control the whole society. So to get back to your question, that's very important for Islamic Republic, because they want to show the rest of the world that this is Islamic.
This is how we manifest our theocracy. What do you say to those people who say, I have a problem with being repressed for witnessing Iranian women under these conditions, but this is their culture. Who am I to say anything about it? I know that riles you up, which is exactly why I asked you this question. So go ahead.
It just now on. I don't want to even say that it breaks my heart. No.
Right.
Now it just makes me angry. It makes me furious, because you've been witnessing that for years and years. When I launched the campaign in 2014, 8 years ago, people kept saying to me, like Western feminists were challenging me in Washington, D.C., New York, London, in Germany, telling me that, we go to Iran and we wear hijab out of respect to your culture. I was feeling miserable by listening to this. And I was doing my best to convince them that this is not our culture. How come forcing a 7-year-old girl to cover her hair, suddenly it's part of your culture? But here in the West, when women take to the street and saying, my body, my choice. So then this is a feminist manifest. But when it comes to women of the Middle East, it's my culture.
Right.
This is an insult to a nation.
Right.
First of all, before the revolution, as you know, women were allowed to choose what they wanted to wear.
Women, that was very, that was a basic right of a woman. We were allowed to vote. Maybe before the people in Switzerland did.
Exactly.
We had reformed divorce laws, family laws. We held high offices. Some of the ministers were women. Iranian women have always said they're lionesses. They've gone far and beyond the call of duty to make sure that their rights are protected. And this time they're being led by bullets.
How do you feel when they say that it's your culture? Isn't that an insult to you?
I would tell them to go learn about my culture before they make a statement.
Yeah,
that's what I would say, because I think a lot of what the West presumes to be correct about us is what they see in the media and what they're told by the lobbyists in Washington that are pro-regime. And they are...
let's actually make it clear when we say the lobbyists in Washington, D.C., who we mean. I've been actually recently, I've been talking to Jake Sullivan, the National Security Advisor of President Biden. I told him directly, you have to stop getting advice from those who call themselves Iranian Americans and trying to actually manipulate what's going on in Iran. Those are the same people who gave advice to President Obama in 2019, saying that 2009, saying that, you better stay away from green movement. You better not even touch the issue. Don't support it, because otherwise the Iranian regime would label the protesters that you're being supported by CIA, by the US government. I met Hillary Clinton and Mossad.
Right.
I met Hillary Clinton in your house. What did she say? She said, big regret. You remember when I grilled her for 20 minutes?
Right.
That how come you didn't support the green movement? She said that big regret, wrong advice.
Right.
So this is the moment that President Biden should kick out all those people who give wrong advice to President Obama, and now they are around Biden administration as well. So those were the same people, while Iranian women like Sabah Kordafshari, 19-year-old, Yasaman Aryani, 22-year-old women, were practicing their civil disobedience, part of White Wednesday's campaign. Those advisors, American Iranians in Washington, D.C. were telling that, oh no, hijab is not a big deal. While we were calling the well-known athletes around the world to boycott Islamic Republic for forcing them to wear hijab while they want to attend any international tournament. Nazi Pakitse, one of the well-known chess champions from America, she actually shared a picture of our campaign, and she said that, yes, while my sister, you remember what happened? She got attacked.
She refused to wear hijab, right?
Nazi Pakitse refused to wear hijab to go to Iran. Instead of being supported, she was attacked by people called themselves like Iranian American. She was under attack saying that, oh, you are trying to downplay Iranian women. Basically, these people now trying now to downplay the revolution inside Iran as well, saying that Iranian people are there to abolish morality police, to get rid of compulsory hijab laws.
There is a false narrative going on. There is a campaign of disinformation. I see it on Twitter, and I'm just wondering how this could be managed. What can the social media, what could the big tech companies do to help you, to help your social platform? I know that you're very busy with this. I know that you've put your life on this, and you have become the face and voice of many faceless and voiceless women. I want to say across Middle East, because now the women in Afghanistan are rising up also. So hats off to you. But what can the big tech companies do?
Hats off to Iranian women inside Iran, Iranian women who are facing morality police and security forces, but they still powerful enough to say that this is not about removing hijab laws. This is not about abolishing. Abolition is correct.
Yes, that's a great word.
Morality police, you know, they are there to end a gender apartheid regime, and we deserve to have a secular democratic country. But what I want to actually tell you about the tech companies that you mentioned, it is a shame. It is a shame that in 21st century, they allow the dictators like Khamenei to enjoy freedom of speech on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. At the same time, they don't even care that the same dictator banned 18 million people from enjoying freedom of speech on the same platform.
So he's using the same platform, but the Iranians are not allowed to.
And most of the Iranian officials, they have verified account on Twitter. Believe me, the same Twitter kicked out President Trump, and left and liberal cheering for this decision. They were celebrating this decision. But at the same time, when I remember when I wrote an article for Washington Post and I challenged Twitter that why don't you kick out Khamenei, Javad Zarif? There were some Iranians giving advice, going to the media, to big media, and saying that, no, this is against freedom of speech. We have to have Khamenei, Javad Zarif, Rouhani on Twitter because we want to know what they're doing to Iranians. We want to follow their statements. Wow. So to me, now, this is the moment that we all Iranians, human rights organizations, activists around the world, we have to go after tech companies, because by actually allowing the dictators to enjoy Twitter and social media, they're taking sides. They're actually allowing Khamenei to issue a fatwa against Salman Rushdie on Twitter. They're allowing Khamenei to go and use Twitter to say that we have to eliminate Israel. They are allowing all the dictators from Iran and Afghanistan, Taliban, to use Twitter. Twitter empowered them to use their platform and order massacre.
What do you make of that sad Twitter? There are no words to describe it, of Khamenei after about 15 days addressing brutal killing of Masih Amini as saying unnamed woman, he didn't mention his name, who died in unfortunate accident. And we are sorry about this. And this, he kind of whitewashed the whole thing, basically downplaying that his own police cracked the skull of this woman and put her in coma, and then she finally succumbed, and many other people. What do you say to this hypocrisy? Because we know from another Twitter from Khamenei that he actually made fun of the American police for the George Floyd moments, right? So there is a hypocrisy here that needs to be brought to attention.
You're right, actually. You mentioned about the tweet that he made about the brutal death of George Floyd, saying that mikoshan zabuneshun ham deraze.
Can you translate that?
No, I want you to translate. I don't know how to translate that.
So to make it simple, it's like they kill their people, and they claim that they're actually right, and they actually talk about it, they brag about it. Zabun deraz means a long tongue, big mouth, which means after killing, they brag about it that they have actually killed George Floyd. So
it happened. It happened
in our country.
It's him,
right? It's
just him. Because here in America, what happened? People took to the streets after the brutal death of George Floyd, and they actually encouraged many people around the world to take to the streets. What happened about Iran now?
Yeah.
He even didn't dare to name Mahsa because he knows Mahsa is not dead. To millions of Iranians, Mahsa, his name, became a symbol of resistance. That scares him.
Right.
That's why he doesn't even dare to name Mahsa. So, but at the same time, his government opened fire at teenagers, innocent people who peacefully take to the streets. How many people got killed here in Women's March?
Right.
How many people got killed here in massive protests after the brutal death of George Floyd? So that actually shows you that it's not, to be honest, I don't want to even talk about the hypocrisy of Khamenei because it's clear to us.
Yeah.
Let's talk here about the hypocrisy of the West.
Yeah. Where's our outrage?
Exactly.
Where's our outrage? I hear you.
Women's March is getting bloody in Iran and Afghanistan. Feminists around the world, Democrats, left, liberal, they asked for Women's March after, when Trump got into the power. There was massive protest after the brutal death of George Floyd. Where are those people? I mean, to be honest, Nazi, where is Michelle Obama? Have you ever heard?
I've seen hashtags around. Michelle Obama, Oprah Winfrey.
You cannot
calling on you because we know you care, and this is the moment to actually take a stand and be on the right side of history. Anyone with power, anyone that can move the needle. This is not a women's movement anymore. This is a humanitarian crisis. And am I right to say the women in Iran are not asking for reformed regime?
At all.
They just want the end of this regime.
To be honest, when you asked Michelle Obama that we know that you care, we want you to speak up, I was a little bit concerned because if they speak up, they might say, yes, Khamenei, hear the voice of Iranians. We don't want Khamenei to hear us. We know that they don't have any ear for the right, message to hear the right message from Iranians. We want you actually, to be honest, we don't want America to come and save Iranians. We want you to stop saving the Iranian regime. I want Michelle Obama.
I love that sentence. So
you know why
you said it in front of United Nations about a month ago. You said, do not, West America, UK, do not help the Iranian people, but stop helping the Iranian regime.
But you know why I say that? I think you're aware of the attack and critics from academics many years telling me that it's Masih calling on the West to save Iranian women. And I was clear enough to say that we, the women of Iran, are brave enough to save ourselves from bad laws, from bad guys. But what we want, actually, it's very, very clear that we want the Western, especially female politicians, to save Iranian regime. To stop
you want them to stop saving the Iranian.
Stop saving the.
I want to dial this conversation back a little bit, and if you can share as much as you can your conversation with Jake Sullivan. What has this administration gotten right about these demonstrations? What have they gotten wrong? And a broader question is, what has the West gotten wrong about Iran? What are the myths about the Iranian regime that Americans are sold to and beholden to?
First of all, my meeting with Jake Sullivan, it was the third meeting that I had with him.
The third meeting.
Yeah, I'm happy that finally they are paying attention. But of course, I'm not happy about what actually they said, because they say that we have to stick with our own policy. We are focusing to negotiate with the Islamic Republic. And I think this is the right moment that they can stand up with not Iranian people, with those who care about democracy. Look, I've been telling Jake Sullivan about how Putin, Maduro, Khamenei, China, they are united. They are together. They're helping each other to oppress people in their own country, to suppress protests. They actually help each other. How they teach each other the new tactic, how to suppress protests taking place in Hong Kong, in Iran, Russia, Venezuela. So this is how dictators working together. I told Jake Sullivan that this is the time that you have to call your own allies, the democratic countries, to work with you and ask them to recall their ambassadors, because teenagers are getting killed. Nazi, they are the same age as my son and your son.
Right.
My daughter and your daughter. They're getting killed in the streets. And at the same time, the US government is trying to have a deal with them. It means that, okay, Jake Sullivan rightfully condemned the brutal death of Mahsa Amini, but at the same time, they're trying to give billions of dollars to the killer of Mahsa Amini.
Right.
I said to Jake Sullivan, many people do not get this contradiction.
There's a disconnect between condemning a regime, but at the same time paying them.
Yeah, but he said that we are here now to help Iranians to have a better access to internet, which is great.
Right.
Which is great.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for that. But to be honest, this is a historical moment, a revolution gaining momentum. And I remember the moment when, you remember as well, people were in the street in 2009. They were naming Obama.
Right.
Obama means he is with us.
Right. Obama's, yes.
Obama's. So people were actually using his name, say Obama, Obama ya Obama. So that moment.
Wait, Obama, are you with us or with them?
With them.
Right.
Because Obama, U means he, Ba means with, Ma means
us.
Right. Basically, Obama was not with us. He was sending a secret letter to the supreme leader of Iran to get a deal. Many people are concerned right now. They think that because Iranian regime is in its weakest situation, suffering from internal crisis, so maybe the West is going to use this opportunity because they are weak, so we can get a deal. Better deal.
Right.
So for that, I think this is the moment that US citizen is in prison, UK citizen is in prison, British, Swedish citizen, German citizen. It's better to get your allies united, downgrade your diplomatic relation, and ask the Islamic Republic to respect human rights and its own people.
The irony is, if this regime falls under the weight of its own malfeasance and malign behavior, we don't need to worry about another JCPOA. We don't need to worry about malign activity in the Middle East. I mean, many of these things will be solved if this regime doesn't rehabilitate itself, which, by the way, many analysts now are thinking that this regime is beyond reform. And they're not on the path to reform, because crackdown and repressive measures actually sustain this regime. So they're not interested in reform.
But that's a very good point. I mean, because I've been questioned about this a lot, that, the US, the West, they want an Iran without bomb, so nuclear weapon. But you're right. As far as you hear the voice of Iranians and you take action, help them to gain what they want,
you don't need to worry about it. Well, with the right person in place, yes. And we do have many good candidates to put this country back on its track where it was before the revolution in 1979. Masih, tell us about who has gotten you right. I see it always on Twitter, on social media, that the French actresses are cutting their hair. There is a very cute cartoon of Marge Simpson who's cut all her hair next to the Italian embassy. I know that many politicians are backing you up. Many diplomats are backing you up. Which country understands you? Which politician is understanding you? Who are you very happy with? And who do you wish, besides Mrs. Obama and Mrs. Winfrey, to give you more support?
To be honest, I have to say that the solidarity that Iranian women are getting across the globe is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And this is the first time that athletes, as you mentioned, many well-known leaders around the world, they're showing solidarity. Brilliant. But solidarity itself is not enough. I don't want just the well-known people cut their hair. What we want is cut your ties with the Islamic Republic, because I saw some of the female politicians sitting on their, sit in parliament in Sweden, different countries, cutting their hair, which is beautiful. But what we need, cut your ties with the murderers and take action. I mean, it's not me saying that. Many people are asking the Western countries that this is the time that you can recall your ambassadors. Germany did.
Right.
Great. And as to get back to your question, I'm very happy with people, the public support
The
from
civil
France,
society.
civil society,
Right.
France, Italy,
Right.
Germany. They are amazing.
They're behind you.
They are
They're
behind
the
us.
movements,
They are
yes.
behind us. But what is lacking, what is missing here, the leaders, Macron. President Macron is just desperate to get a deal.
Right.
I mean, he was the one actually pushing President Trump and now President Biden to shake hands with the murderers. So, and another thing which I want to actually use the opportunity to say is now we human rights activists, now we the women, we can push all the politicians, we can send letters to our representative, to our senators, congressmen, congresswomen, representative everywhere in the West, and push them and get them to do the right thing. Iranian television,
Right.
main propaganda tool. They brought all the family members of those innocent people who got killed on TV.
Forced confessions.
Forced
Yeah,
confession.
I saw that.
Why don't we ask our politicians? Why don't we ask the West to boycott the Islamic Republic television and kick out their correspondents from the West?
Right. Right.
So these are the
I
things that we
think
need. We need
we're-
action.
Right. But I do think that the correspondents on the ground in Iran actually do serve a purpose. And I think you can get more by being able to eyewitness these accounts than by recalling the correspondence from
No, I
Iran.
meant that kicking out Islamic Republic for
correspondence from here.
from
Okay.
here.
Okay, that's a different story.
Yeah,
So-
like what is the embassy doing here?
Right.
What is Iran's interest section? Is it really for the interest of Iranian here? I mean, believe me, if you go there right now to
Right.
Iran's interest section in Washington, D.C., they will kick you out.
Yeah.
Because you're unveiled.
Right.
So then what are they doing here? They
Right.
are here for the interest of the Islamic Republic. Kick them out.
Good point. I'm going to segue back a little, segue to the leaders. We were just talking about leaders who have supported you and those who we're hoping that they will. You had a hashtag which you touched on this many years ago
Which one?
about leadership of protests in Iran. I don't know what your hashtag.
Yes.
I don't remember it anymore.
رهبر منم رهبر توی فریاد کن آزادی.
Okay, it means I'm the leader, you're the leader, shout freedom from the top of your lungs. So am I right to think that there is no exact leader right now for these protests?
For me, there are many exact leaders.
So what do you mean by that? Because we had this conversation.
Yeah, because look, as you mentioned about the hashtag that I created through White Wednesday's campaign, because a lot of people in the West were like labeling me that, oh, you're an agent of America now asking women to go to the streets. I was trying to actually make them understand that women have agency. They know what they are doing. And they are their own leaders. The true leaders of change are inside the country, and I'm echoing their voice. That's all I do. So when I launched the campaign, I created this hashtag as well. And I asked women that if you believe that you're leading the movement, shout out loud. So you can see that Mushkan Keshavars, many women, they
Right.
hold the sign saying that Rahbar Manam, I am the leader. Rahbar Tui, you are the leader. Let's chant for freedom. That actually helps them and
Right.
empowers them to be their own storytellers,
Right.
and letting the rest of the world know that we are inside the country and we are saying that to you, that we are leading the movement and we are not the agent of CIA, the agent of MI6, the agent of President Trump, the agent of the Queen. We have agency.
Right.
So for me, this movement is leading by true leaders who are facing the brutality of the regime and saying that we want an end to the dictatorship.
Do you think no outside help will make this?
Never. We need outside help.
So
What
how?
many ways. First, this is the tactic of the Islamic Republic,
Right.
trying to say that داخل نشین, خارج نشین, West, Middle East. No, we have common enemy. The Islamic Republic is our common enemy.
Right.
Doesn't matter. You live outside Iran, inside Iran. Doesn't matter you're a Western citizen or you are a citizen of Iran.
Right.
Why? As far as the Islamic Republic is in power, they kill you.
Right.
Whenever, like more than, according to one of the most respectable human rights organization, Bunyad Burman, more than 500 dissidents and dual national citizens,
right,
got assassinated or being the target of kidnapping plot by the Islamic Republic in the West. So you see, for that, we are together. We have to stick together. Iranians clearly need the Western democratic countries, the activists in the West, feminist global movement, everyone who live in a free country to be their voices and to call all the government and leaders from democratic countries to help them. Mm-hmm. We need access for internet. And I want to actually tell you that as well. The Supreme Leader, Khamenei, said that this movement is being led by the West.
It's that, no? But that's the narrative that the regime has been selling people since day one.
So I'm going to tell you, what kind of, help that we got from West so far. The Western female politician actually helping the Islamic Republic by wearing hijab.
Right.
The Western democratic countries, by focusing on nuclear deal and ignoring the massive protests saying that we want an end to the
human rights abuses, right?
Then they're helping that.
So there is now a current dialogue going on in DC and among policymakers that want to see Iran change, that the Iran nuclear deal should be linked to Iran's regional activity and human rights.
Too late for it.
You think it's too late?
It's too late for it. For years and years, we've been saying that. I'm not even scared to say that I myself was a reformist.
Right.
I myself was pro original deal. Why? Because I'm coming from a poor family, and I was like, oh my God, that's going to help the poor to get a better condition of life. What happened?
Right.
The benefit of the deal didn't go to the poor people.
Where did it go?
Clearly, the foreign minister of the Islamic Republic, Javad Zarif, said that we are proud to say that although we were suffering from sanction, we send the money to Iraq.
Right.
Hassan Rouhani came on TV and said that we were suffering from sanction, but we are proud to announce that we send the money to Hezbollah.
Right.
Hassan Nasrallah on TV said that as far as the Islamic Republic has money, we have money, brothers. Don't worry about it. While we were suffering from sanction, Javad Zarif announced that they built a hospital in Venezuela.
Right.
So some of the American Iranians lobby apologists here trying to put the blame on sanction. I am very clear.
Right.
What hurts Iranian people is corruption. Because while we were suffering from sanction, maybe the viewers even don't have any idea that we have 51 religious institutions, which the lobbyists and apologists never tell you. The budget of these religious institutions got increased right in the middle of sanction. Why? I'm going to tell you this religious institution, you know that, Morality Police, Masih Mesbah institution, Khomeiни's institution, Khamenei's institution.
Right.
So these money that the benefit of the deal go to these institutions to promote Sharia laws to kill more Mahsa in Iran.
Right.
So the money didn't go to the poor. Poor got poorer. And the relative of these Ayatollah were actually promoting to get a deal here in the West.
Right.
They're sending their children here in America.
Right.
Many, when I say...
you can't escape their pictures on Twitter where they are shirtless, hair out in the wind and drinking and enjoying themselves Western style.
We're not hearing a single slogan in the streets right now saying death to America or we want a deal. We want to. Do you hear that?
No, but that's a good topic to touch on. In 2019, I remember vividly that they had the flag of Israel plastered over the entrance of a university. I don't remember which university. And everywhere. And I remember people were bypassing the flag so that they will not step on the flag, which is what the regime actually meant for them to do, because that would have been stepping on something or putting your shoes on something or showing your shoes to somebody is the ultimate disrespect. And the Iranians were refusing to do so.
And that's exactly. And the funny part of the story is this is what Iranians doing inside. But here in many think tank, many media, many human rights organization, you keep hearing that all the disaster is going, it's because of the fault of Israel and America. So the easy way is just putting the blame on the Western country. Basically, they are repeating the talking point of the Ayatollahs. No?
Right.
I mean, many of them. I mean, I don't want to go after Ilhan Omar again.
No, but why not?
Yeah, but many
I mean, she's fair game because she has attacked you. If she hadn't attacked you, I would have said, let's not talk about the squad, which actually happens to be 4 of your questions.
About her?
No, about the liberal left, progressive left, who claim to be the champions of the downtrodden and the disenfranchised. Maybe downtrodden is too strong of a word for this society, and they have become completely silent on this matter. Why do you think that is?
What can I say? I mean, everywhere I go, I was angry. I was furious. I'm a little bit tired, but I'm not going to give up fighting against them as well. Because ما تو چند تا جبهه داریم می‌جنگیم.
You have to say that in English.
It means that we have to fight.
You're fighting on many fronts.
In many fronts, in 2 different battles.
Right.
We have to fight against the Islamic Republic. I have to fight against Ayatollah, who actually calling me an agent of America. At the same time, this talking point being repeated by Ilhan Omar, being repeated by Iranian apologists in America. Why? Because I'm a freelancer journalist and I'm working for Voice of America, which is being like respectable media. And I mean, it's just unbelievable. They calling me agent of America, but at the same time, these are part of the government. Ilhan Omar is part of the government. Many left and liberal who keep silence, they're being paid by US government. My dream is to go back to Iran and work from I don't know, Iranian media inside. So they kick me out. It's not my fault. And what I want to actually tell you, it's this is a hypocrisy that the left and liberal always condemn what's going on in Saudi Arabia. Right thing to do. They condemn what is going on in Yemen. Right thing to do. But if you're a true human rights activist, if you're a true feminist, if you really care about human rights should be bipartisan. Right? Is that too much to ask? I myself condemn Muslim ban. I took to the street and supported my sisters for Women's March. Now they made me feel miserable about it.
Well, I think if the people sitting on the 2 sides of the aisle are all human, then humanitarian action should be bipartisan. I mean,
exactly.
We don't have people on one side and non-animated objects on the other side. I mean, that's humanity is the thread that binds us all.
But I did. I condemn Muslim ban, but I asked Ilhan Omar, AOC, I asked all those who helped to organize Women's March, do the same.
Right.
Silent. Instead, they just shared smear campaign, bullying women of White Wednesday's campaign, saying that, well, this is nonsense, this is nothing, it's not a big deal, hijab is part of your culture.
Right.
And even now, I mean, I don't want Ilhan Omar to cut her hair. I don't want her to burn headscarf, but I want her to understand that while Iranian women are leading a movement, you cannot just help the Islamic Republic's talking points.
Well said. Well said. I'm gonna. We have about 10 minutes left. I just want to go to some of our questions. I have more questions that I can ask you. I think the most commonly asked question here is, what can the people here do? Iranian Americans in diaspora, Americans that are like-minded, Americans that want to affect change, Americans that want to see Iran go back to its heroic destiny of being this participant in international community, of sitting at the tables in international arenas that matter. What can they do?
That's a very good question. I think that all Iranian Americans, non-Iranian, they can do a lot. First, by sharing the voice of Iranians who say that we don't want a gender apartheid regime. Second, by sending letters, emails to your senators, to your representative, and ask them to stick with human rights values, to stick with universal values, and do not buy the wrong narrative of those saying that if you help Iranian for regime change, then you're interfering in internal matter. Now it's clear. by not supporting them, you're taking side. But by keeping silent, actually, while Iranians are getting killed, you are taking side and into supporting the murderers. So basically, you can do a lot by asking your politicians, your local politicians, to stop negotiating with the murderers. Instead, recognize the civil society and the leading movement by women inside Iran.
So it's back to the pincer strategy that, again, some policymakers are looking at, which is emasculating this regime, weakening this regime, but empowering the civil society.
That's it. And another thing, actually, don't be scared of being labeled of Islamophobic.
Okay, you said that
many students.
We are happy to hear it again, because I
want young students, because a lot of young students, they go and listen to some of the their professors at universities, and they get us wrong, saying that maybe we shouldn't touch the issue of hijab. No, be brave. Be brave. Believe me, supporting your sisters who want freedom of choice doesn't make you Islamophobic.
But it's now more than freedom of choice. It's actually they want an end to this apartheid regime.
As far as the Islamic Republic is in power, we don't have freedom of choice. So when I say freedom of choice, it means that we want a secular, democratic country, because we didn't choose this government. We don't have election. We have selection. So basically, freedom of choice means I want to be free to choose my dress code and to choose my government, which is going to be a secular, democrat regime, not the Islamic Republic.
So let's talk about the day that hopefully we will have an Iran that's free of the shackles of theocracy or pseudo-theocracy. This, in my opinion, is just a power-hungry regime, probably lining their pockets with oil money and doing whatever they can to make sure that their families and whatever their children are taken care of, and that the regime succeeds. But what does a post-theocratic Iran look like, in your opinion?
I strongly believe that Iranians should make decisions for the future of Iran. And we have so many intellectuals inside Iran, outside Iran, so many smart and educated people,
right,
who are being ignored to take part, to run the country.
Right.
So beautiful Iran is what all Iranians dream.
Right.
Religious, being separated from politics.
Right.
We want to have a secular, democratic country, and that is why Iranians are fighting for.
Right. Your choice to worship the way you want.
Religion can be your private matter,
right? Which is the way it was before.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
So this is the dream of millions of.
Isn't it amazing, Masih, that no one remembers the Iran that used to be before the revolution? You didn't remember because you grew up in a regime that basically brainwashed its youth.
Yeah, but now the internet.
Yeah.
Look, Nazi, actually, I received a video from a 14-year-old or 16-year-old girl, beautifully said. She said to her mother, join me to the protest.
Right.
Because what I have been suffering for all my life, you made it for me.
It's your fault.
It's your fault. And he said that your revolution became a revolution against me, Mom.
Right.
Join me and take to the street. So you see, she didn't see Iran before the revolution.
Right.
But internet helped us to understand that, honestly, the Islamic Republic became a revolution against women, became a revolution against minority, became a revolution against our dignity.
Right.
And that's why, actually, I have a dream to have a secular, democratic country where women can choose their own lifestyle. Basically, we are fighting to have a normal life.
Are there any talks on a provisional government, a shadow government? I know this is jumping the gun by so many hundreds of yards, but
I mean, there is a beautiful unity among oppositions outside and inside Iran. That gives me power.
Right.
That the regime always try to, manipulate the opposition.
Drive a wedge between the opposition.
And saying that, this opposition are not united.
Right.
I mean, or some of the reformists might say that if the Islamic Republic is gone, then who's going to run the country? There are so many oppositions inside Iran. They have loud voice. Clearly, they signed a letter and said that Khamenei must be gone. Islamic Republic must be gone. We're echoing their voice outside Iran. And believe me, this is the first time I think that left and right, monarchists to everyone are united.
They're united.
And this unity is what scares the regime.
I think we should end on that hopeful, beautifully said note. I came away with a lot more than I thought I knew, but I knew very little until I sat down and I spoke with you, even after spending probably days and weeks just looking at the feed on my Twitter. So thank you, Masih. There are so many questions, but I think I've hit most of them. You were, as always, eloquent. I know this was your 4th or 5th interview today.
Yes.
Many more to come tomorrow, and the past weeks and the next few weeks are very busy. So I'm very thankful for your time.
Appreciate it.
I think you are a uniquely gifted person in the way that you have persevered against so many odds. As you said, academics, intellectuals, foreign countries, leaders, diplomats have been against you. And
now
they're on the right side of history. This is the right side of history. And I hope you will join us. I hope you will be as active as you can be.
Thank you so much, Nazi. I really need a hug.
Okay.
I need a hug. Thank you.
Thank you to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Together, we are stronger. I really appreciate your support, and thank you so much for watching us.
Long
we need
live
you.
Iran. Long live Iran. Thank you.
Thank you so much.